giving you grief. But, I think you sound like you're on the mend, and perhaps you have cracked a bit of a heavy fall like that. It would surprise me if you hadn't, if you took the brunt of the fall around that area. Okay, well, the lawnmowers. Only the trail pack is 90 quid. It's an original from the manufacturer. I paid 25 quid for the mower. At the moment, on eBay, there's two of exactly the same mower for 25 quid. So you can have a pair for 25 quid now. And I looked at the advert and thought, what a fine pair. And the pressure bit kicked in, of course. They want 40 quid for a second-hand ignition coil. Originally, just in the lawnmower that I've got packed up. I left it outside in some rain once, and it wouldn't start thereafter. So I took the coil pack out and tried it out. Got a spark, and I thought, that's it, that's solved it. Put it on back, and it's still not sparking. So I might have shot myself in the foot by sealing it, because the black plastic case around the compound, there was an air gap, and that's obviously where the water's got in. But by sealing that, if I put it back in the iron cupboard, the water may be able to get out. I'll try it once more. It's not desperate, but it does do a nice job when it's going. And failing that, I'll just go down and get. You can get them for about 120 quid now, I think, brand new. So I'll probably do that rather than money into old second-hand parts for an old machine. Okay, the domestic sets, and they are, in fact, you're dealing with the old EF39 type things with the painted conductive coating on the outside of the valve. But I always want to have that. Anyway, let's push it down to Swansea. What the WX is like, they've got plenty of rain in London, according to Paul Justin, but it's absolutely glorious up there, not a breath of wind, blue sky. It was 10 degrees when I walked out, and it's the first day I've come in the shack and not needed the heating on. It was nice and warm. The shack window faces out towards the west, so it gets a lot of sunshine on a night and tops up the temperature. So quite often when I come in the morning, it's such a reasonable temperature. Certainly was this morning, so I've not needed the fan heater on, which is what happens when you get old. GW0, I said why, and then if you'll be kind enough to pass it on to Andy up in Durham, please. Justin, G3VTD.
GW0, episode 5 returning. Yep, morning Ray, and morning to Mike. I've heard Mike and any other stations. I think Paul's on frequency, also Andy. Morning to you. And greetings from Swansea. Also a nice morning here, blue skies. There's a bit of mist around actually. I got up quite early. Been testing a few aerials actually. Put up a vertical, a ground plane for 10 megs, 30 meters. So I wanted to test that, but the band was a bit flat this morning, so might try it a bit later, but I think it works. And I'm using this double dipole actually this morning. I think I mentioned before, I've got my main dipole up on the mast, and I've got another one which is on another mast. About 20 meters distance from it. So I'm actually on the air at the moment with the double dipole, but it's actually a phased array now. So I've got you're gonna like this. I've got something like the feeder on the one dipole is 3/4 of a wavelength long. So it's 60 meters of coax. And the other feeder is 1/4 wavelength, so 70 meters, which is going straight up. So they're supposed to be phased. The one's supposed to be 180 degrees out of phase. And I think what the effect of that is, it's supposed to lower the takeoff angle, the angle. So instead of sort of radiating straight up, it might actually lower the angle of radiation a bit, and also it tends to sort of sharpen up the lobes, sort of broad side. So it makes it look more like a typical dipole pattern. That's the theory anyway. So it'd be interesting to see what the reports are like on this. I expect it's probably not going to be much different than this standalone dipole, I expect. So there we go. All noted about the fractured ribs there, Mike. Yeah, that can be quite painful actually. Yeah, there's not much treatment for that except painkillers, and hopefully it usually heals. And noted about the lawnmower there, Ray. Yeah, I was in the market for a lawnmower. I sort of still am, but I was looking at something quite big for sort of mowing the sort of paddocks and small fields. But I would just warn you, if you're looking for spares, there's a internet website called World of Mowers, and they also have several sort of sub websites dealing spares. And if you look at sort of like the reviews, they're not very good. I bought a mower from them, and they cancelled the order, and because I presume they didn't have a particular mower in stock. And then I couldn't get hold of them. I tried to email them, say, look, you're going to refund me, to pay quite a substantial amount of money. And I couldn't get through to them. They never answered the emails, never answered the phone. Impossible to get through to. They did refund me in the end, but it took about a week. But I wasn't very happy with their service. So if you see any sort of lawnmower brand sort of websites, just check they're not a sub website of this World of Mowers group, because they're absolutely hopeless. So just sort of mentioning that. Anyway, on the Class C this morning, usual setup for the AR88. So with that, I'll pass it on to Andy. G480 from GW0SZY.
Yeah, GW0SZY, G4OJY, yes. You can want to see just small good 5 and 9 signal, and okay on the experiments with the antenna phasing there. Yes, I wonder which way it's supposed to point there. I've never done any experiments like that. Obviously, on 80 metres, quite a lot of people have got 4 square vertical arrays, which seem to work tremendously well. I don't, unfortunately, have room for 4 verticals with the correct spacing, but I know they do work very well for working DX. I wonder if that's the intention there, and which way it can point. I guess you could probably come up with some switching so you could make it possibly bi-directional there. Anyway, more of that later. Yes, okay, on the mower there, Ray. Well, it's probably worth looking for a spare coil if you can find one. Maybe eBay might have something like that. But yes, I was amazed how expensive mowers are when I had mine overhauled last year, and that needed a new carburetor on and what have you, and that cost a few bob, and hopefully it'll last a while. Now it's amazing how much more economical it is with a new carb on. So not quite sure where all the petrol was going before, but it does perform a lot better now, and much more economical as well. I can maybe do the lawn on half a tank instead of possibly about 3/4 of one. And yeah, the domestic sets, Ray. Well, I have various ones ranging from the 1930s up to the 1960s, so it's not particularly any era, but I was given this one as a present, and I got the thing going. I mean, I hate valve stuff on PCBs anyway, and it was my least favourite construction inside, and it was a real challenge to get it going. And in the end, I think I remade most of the soldered joints on the PCB just to get the thing going. So there's probably some fault like that still lurking inside there. Right, so it's you there, Paul. We'll see if anyone else is up M1 PVC G for OJY.
G4 OJY, M1 PVC. Yeah, change the transmitter. One of the LG 300s. I'll bring the other one on in the next over. Always run the two as a net control. Then I can have a switch over should one decide to blow up. Anyway, there you go. Yes, okay there. Well, you took the words out of my mouth there, Andy. When you said earlier, printed circuit board on a valve receiver. What a horrendous thing. That takes me back to the older televisions, especially the older colour televisions, which before the Form came out with their fully transistorised chassis. I mean, there were some horrendous things, and they had those wretched PL519 fine valve, but boy, didn't it like the printed circuit board that was connected to all that heat. Anyway, there you go. No, I used to hate them, absolutely hate them, and I still do. And I think any domestic set that came my way, I understand it was a present, so that was a bit difficult to put it in the bin, but that's what I would have done, in the bin with it. There you go. I suppose it worked one day, but because it's not just a printed circuit board, they use this resin bonded paper board instead of the fiberglass stuff, which is even more prone to heat and carbonisation and what have you. I've even had to cut, well, I suppose we all have, holes in those sort of printed circuit boards where it's all charred, and you finish up with a skeleton of board just to get the insulation back on the board, as it were, and link wires. Now, mind the gap sort of thing, but it does often get the things working, but boy, really, really nasty bit of construction, and not my cup of tea at all. Heathkit did that on some of their sideband rigs, didn't they? With valves with the printed circuit boards, and very nasty. Anyway, there you go. Good morning to you, Justin. You're peaking 20 over 9. A lot of QSB on your signal, but I think that's the feature of the Class E, perhaps, because, as I say, the carrier jumps up and down like mad. But lovely signal from it. So 20 over 9 as a peak. Can't be bad. And thank you for the picture, Mike. Splendid. Absolutely splendid. Large piece of kit, right? But some splendid equipment you've got in that picture there, with the Bendix and the TCS to be picked out. But I'm wondering, you can put me these there. The Marconi Atlanta is standing on a transmitter. Is that the Ocean Stone transmitter that goes with it, Mike? You can confirm that with the coloured knobs. Lovely piece of kit. Absolutely splendid. Wish I had room for stuff like that, but I haven't. So well done on that, Mike. And round here with G4EJM and 1 PVC.
I'm on PVC. Had a good golf for Echo, Julie, Mike. Okay, Paul. Conditions are a bit variable, and that's just beyond everybody, including you, Justin, with your very strong signal. So, but you're always, I was going to say, so whatever you're doing with the aerial, it's working, but you're always a strong signal with me. Excuse me. And I was just trying to sitting thinking about your aerial array there and what might be happening. You're feeding them out of phase with each other, so one's radiating while the other's resting. Yeah. So it shouldn't affect the directivity at all, that, should it? I think you'd have to phase them differently to get directivity with them, and phase them so many degrees out. I'm not sure what because you'd have to work it out, I suppose. But less than a quarter wave phasing to get them to beam in one direction then the other, you know. Anyway, interesting thing that I've been trying to talk Martin into phasing his inverted V and his loop aerial. I think it's probably on his list of things to try, but that'd be an interesting experiment, wouldn't it? Yeah, I've got my CR100 played up now. I've got audio distortion crept in on it now, so it'll be working really well. A couple of years ago, something like that, Paul, when you did yours, got this one working. So I need to get it out of its case. It's going to be a bit of a job. I've got to shift. I've got to move the Bendix transmitter off the top of it as well. So we'll kind of sit and wish that'll go right on its own, you know, I think. And the CR150, which is the receiver underneath the TGY 2, is playing up a bit as well, so need attention, HI. And yes, now there's the Ocean Span naval transmitter, Paul. I haven't got its covers on. The covers are in the garage down below. Never put the thing together properly. Because after I removed the motor generator, because it was driving me batty, you know, with the motor generator running, really noisy. And I put a mains transformer in there now, and lashed the sort of power supply in it, and it was all working last year's. So but the Atalanta's passed its test as well. That needs some attention, I think. There's always something to do in this with the phone equipment, isn't there? Okie doke. Well, I'm going to get me some a cup of tea or something now, and leave you to it, guys. So I'll rest for a while, but I need to get on there. So I won't be around on the main net, Paul. Because no one come on the main net. It's great, but there are a lot of other stations coming on now, and I've had a good go this morning. So it's only fair, really. Leave some space, some room, whatever, for the other stations to get on to that net. But I hope conditions improve a bit, you know, because they've really dipped at the moment. Okie doke. O2 rate, G3 VTD, Golf for Echo Julie Mike. Some boost you all.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right. That's the count, but nobody called in from G3 VTD. Some boost, anyway, we'll catch up with you later. Hope your ribs feeling a bit easier. I was talking to Martin yesterday, MGA. I was doing some tests with the 38 set combination, and whilst I was doing the tests, a couple of stations came back, and one of them was Martin, and he was receiving on Jonathan G8URE's Beverage, which is Jonathan's QTH, but apparently he's got it streaming on YouTube, he was saying, and I think it's only on 3615. It's not like a web SDR, but he was copying on receive with the Beverage antenna, which was quite a novelty. So I think he's going to be using that tomorrow morning. Obviously, just on the world of mowers, yeah, you've got to be a little bit cautious, haven't you? I always look at the feedback. There is a degree of comeback with eBay, but you've got to do it sharpish with eBay. You've only got about 30 days, and I got ripped off from a Chinese company for a coffee grinder. I was desperate for a grinder and couldn't get one. Grinder, sorry. They messed me around saying, "Oh, we sent you one, you know, and you received it. No, we'll send you another." And the weeks went rolling by, and the 30 days had suddenly gone. And someone pointed out that having paid by PayPal, you get 3 months with PayPal. So I passed all the details on to PayPal, and within 2 days the money was back in the account, because I think they threatened them with not sending money to them and so on, and they're extremely helpful with PayPal. So if it does ever get long-winded, which I think they purposely do that to get outside the eBay 30-day guarantee, then pay by PayPal, and you've got 3 months. So that worked well for me. Okay, the phased aerials, and interesting, on 80 meters, you need some distance and you need a lot of cable. But you could also make it work as a parasitic element, just making it longer or shorter, and then it would become a reflector or a director in the direction that you want. But you need that spacing of maybe 0.2 of a wavelength as a minimum for it to work, and then you wouldn't have to feed it. The out-of-phase current is produced by making it inductive or capacitive. Okay, to you, Andy, on the carburetor. If it was burning in excess of petrol, it's coming straight out of the exhaust. The overspill, isn't it? If it's not burning it, then there's only one way it can go, and that's out of the exhaust. So I think now you've got the new carburetor on, you've got a much better economy. And okay, on the radios, 1930s to the 1960s, I love working on those, but the problem with them is when you've got them working and working well, there's not much to listen to. The light program on the home service out there, Radio Luxembourg apparently is finished now. So there are stations and now entertaining at the world, DAC 90, which is the brown Bakelite version with the white speaker grill, not the cloth one. And my parents had that radio, so I bought it for a nostalgic trip back to yesteryear. And it was the first time I ever heard amateur transmissions. My dear old dad got down on his elbows as it was underneath the TV on the trolley, and we were tuning around on shortwave, and it blew me away. I thought that was amazing. And then we dropped on some local amateur in Pontefract chatting away on AM, and I asked him what that was, and he looked on the dial and it said amateurs, and I thought, this is for me. And that's where it all started. So I've got a bit of a affinity with the Bush DAC 90. And I watched the progression during the time I was in the servicing trade of TVs and radios, you know, the AC/DC and the droppers and the chassis at half mains voltage. That was lethal. What a stupid idea that was. And it was interesting to see all the progression and the changes that took place. Very early days of colour TV, we had to fault down to component level. No one is pulling a panel out and putting another one in, which it became later on. But you know, you got to bring the set in and tie it down to the exact component that was the problem within the colour circuitry, or whatever else it happened to be. But probably the answer's simple. If you buy yourself a ship and moor it somewhere in the nearest canal, you can fill it up with ship's radio equipment and old naval gear. Just thinking back to you, Justin, a very good signal from you actually, but you always are. There's a good path for me down to South Wales. If anybody comes on from South Wales, usually they're very, very good signals. I think there must be a gap in the Pennines. I'm going to get some breakfast also, so I'll leave you to it, chaps. We'll be listening whilst I'm getting some food organised, and I look forward to catching up with you tomorrow morning for the D-Day gathering. So, GW0, SOY2, G3VTD signing. Wishing you all a good morning, gentlemen.
GW0 FZY. I heard Bob call in. Bob, do you want to take an over and then hand it back to me from GW0 FZY?
G0 FGX, you're on frequency, Bob, taking over.
Yeah, Roger, Bob Slightly distracted. Yeah, so it's involved in a conversation. And I'm recording there. Really reverse noise, and I'm just firing up the computer here so I can see if I can use one of the NCRs to help with the stations that I can't hear. So I couldn't really copy Ray. Before that, we got about 5 and 6 points with me on my vertical. I'll read it on the vertical and then working on it better. At the moment, I'm power 17. Actually, amongst other things, boosted up on 80 meters when we've got 2 watts in. And level of 12 watts out for that million. And also I use the 85 and the 85. I would normally get 16 watts or so. One of these door knob capacitors is not happy. As a result of which, I thought it's flashing over and also working. We could do something like that to replace it and get that attached. So that's it's version because I don't use it a lot of probably a 160 as well, I should imagine. I don't use it at 150. So that's what it's going to be tomorrow eventually, actually. Moving around, I've got a new let's go up. So I've got to sort that out. Directional kind of setup. So WX here in Helston, it's misty and murky at the moment, as a result of which I can hear the Irish repeaters, as we've got that sort of damp path here in Ireland, which isn't rain, but is just sort of a little moisture in the air, but that always brings in the repeaters for me. So we'll have a repeater for a few minutes. I was talking to somebody through that a few minutes ago. So, yeah, it's, that's the sort of the morning. It looks like the unspoiled warm weather. Yesterday, the day we were expecting the thunderstorms, but it didn't turn up. We had no thunderstorms here at all, despite the forecast. And it was actually quite a lovely warm day here. I don't know if this is just I haven't looked at the forecast. Maybe it's a summer and it will turn into a decent day later on. Anyway, I'm not sure who it goes to after this. I'm going to pass it to you, Paul. Okay, because I know you'll send it in the right direction. And M1 PDC with the group. This is Golf 0, Foxtrot Golf X-Ray. Golf 6, Tango Victor Juliet, G6, TVJ.
Yep, okay, Bob. It goes to Justin, GW0SY. And you can put it onto your friendly buddy, G6 TVJ, please, afterwards. And Ian, then, if you can put it to Andy, G4OJY. Just going for a comfort break, guys.
GW0, FZ Farming. Yes, thanks for that, Paul, and morning to you, Bob. 5-9 plus 10 to 15. Good signal. Actually, you're quite strong on the call-in. I don't think Ray heard you, but you were quite a strong signal. And morning to you, Ian. Also, we saw on the call-in, must be up 20 over 9, so a very good signal. And a few more reports. Ray about 15 to 20 over. Mike about the same. And Andy also about 15 over 9. So Moodway's coming through here really well, actually. Maybe it's the antenna setup. I'm not sure. Yeah, some interesting comments about that actually. Yeah, I'm not sure how directive. I mean, in terms of directivity, this array will produce because it's because it's a horizontal setup. And ideally for these sort of things to work 100%, you've got to have the height. And I don't think I've got quite the height that's required. But as I said, I mean, when I was researching this, if you look at the polar diagram, I think if you sort of by phasing the two dipoles, you sort of get a more sort of directivity sort of in two directions, really. The polar diagram looks like a traditional dipole pattern, but with a much lower takeoff angle. So that's what it looks like. But there you go. Seems to work all right anyway. What else? I think a comment was made about eBay. I think you made the comment, Ray. I think you do get a bit of protection with eBay actually. If you order stuff and you don't get it, you can. I think they do chase it up, and they can. I think that you're more likely to get the money back. If you order something from a website and you can't get through to them, and things can be pretty grim. But I think with eBay, there is a bit of protection there, which is quite good. Anyway, I'll keep it going round. Over to you then, Ian, and then you pass it on to Andy. G6 TVJ from W0 FZY.
GW0 FZY. G6 TVJ returning. Okay, Justin. Thanks for that. Sorry, I've just slightly put off because my amplifier should be making a humming noise. The fan. Okay, I think it's okay. I've just spent the week listening to a lot of fans, and this is a very different one, but it's I think it's all right. It doesn't normally. There's a cooling fan for the PL519, so when I tune a transmitter up, this fan comes on only when it's keyed. And it's actually a microwave oven fan, and it just blows air on the two PL519s, but it's just humming rather loudly. Anyway, morning to all stations from a very nice looking Bristol this morning. It's very still and sunny and blue sky, so hopefully we've got a good weekend and prospect. I've heard a few stations. I heard Ray, nice warm full-bodied signal for you this morning, Ray, so not quite sure what you're running. But unfortunately very scratchy with me locally, but managed to hear you on the SDR. So looking forward to my trip to, I think I'm going to the Eden Project. I think that's where they're sending me. Good signal from Paul. That's the signal for you, Justin. Lovely, warm, classy sounding signal for you, 20 over 9. So, well done on that. Anyway, nice to be back on the radio. I must be mad because I just spent the week in a warehouse with putting together some radio systems for a TV project. Of course we come home and then do it all again. But it's quite interesting stuff. We've got some fancy gadget made in Italy, Italian-made thing, and it sends RF signals over fibre optic cable. So instead of using a coaxial cable where you get some loss, I mean these are up to microwave signals that you send it down a fibre optic cable, and you get no loss at all. So you can have an antenna a long way away from the rest of the equipment, sort of TV equipment that you might be using. So had a lot of fun this week with that. It's certainly quite hard work, and then got quite a busy week next week. But as luck would have it, I was due for my COVID test this week, but luckily here, of course, being self-employed, I was working away from home. But where I was staying, it was actually in Watford, there was a COVID testing centre right next to the hotel. So I knocked on their door, on their buzzer, and said, I'm due for a test this week, but I'm self-employed from Bristol. Any chance you could fit me in? And they did. They made me an appointment. So yesterday afternoon, I had my second jab, and I've still got my bit of cotton wool taped to my arm. So there we are. What else can I suggest? Oh, phased arrays. I've had lots of fun with those
many years ago, I was lucky enough to contribute to a project built by Kinetic, those people that used to be part of the MOD, mobile phased array contraption. It's a microwave thing consisting of lots of mini microwave antenna all connected into a special gadget which could steer it. So it was it had an electronically steered antenna, or should I say aerial. So I had a lot of fun with that, and that was a thing that they used to have in a big box on a tripod, and then they built another version of it that fitted on the bottom of an aeroplane, and we had quite a bit of fun with that over many years, and I'm convinced it never worked quite as well as they said it did. I remember one time spending a lot of time in a hangar with this thing installed on the bottom of an aeroplane and measuring lots of signal to noise ratios and things, and I'm not convinced it was ever quite as sensitive as they made out. Anyway, there we are. Okay, so lovely morning here in Bristol, and radio conditions don't seem to be too bad. So I think from me, does it go on to Andy? G4 OJY from G6 TVJ. Good morning.
Yes, there's G3TSK. Who was the other station?
G3YJO.
And G3YGO, yes. Good morning there, Martin. Good morning to the new joiners, Ian, 5 and 9, and Bob. Bit of a struggle with you this morning. 5 and 5 at best, and other times in the noise there. And Colin and Martin were reasonable signals on the call in there. Yes, well, look on the antennas there, Justin. Yes, you mentioned 30 metres. I forgot to comment on that. I have a trap vertical here, and I use that on 30 metres, and it seems to work reasonably well. But there's not as much activity on there these days. Very little CW. Everybody just seems to be sat on the FT8 end of the band, doing whatever they do on FT8, and well, that seems to be a bit of a problem on all the DX bands really. So yes, very little activity, but the vertical does work reasonably well on there. About 20 radials on it, very reasonably on, and it seems to perform quite well there. Don't think got much else. It's okay from you, Mike, if you're still listening. Well, I have the actual answer, so I passed it on. But this one is recapping things down the CR100, so I'm sure you'll enjoy doing that. Right, launching at the final, so we'll see you in the morning at some stage, and I'll pass it over to you, Colin. From you, it's on to Martin YJO, and then from you, Martin, back round to Paul. G3TSK, G4OJY.
Yeah, this was just this is Golf Tango Sierra Kilowatt. I reckon I got about 10% of that, Andy, just about 10%. Early on, I heard you give the report for, and towards the end, I heard, we'll pass it on to you, Colin. That's about all I heard, so there you go. The particular thing about propagation, isn't it, Andy? And I got up early here to sort of thought that I could get signals, long distance signals, get yourself started. But it doesn't seem to have worked for you, Andy. Anyway, nice to hear you anyway. A little bit like this here. And I hope the weather's okay. Thank you, mate. The weather here looks pretty good. Same as Bristol there. Last day, not a cloud in the sky. So there we go. And just then I get hear you come in there. And you're talking about oil rays. I was involved with a lot of things like that. I found interesting, you know, you put a new idea, you know, just and it's not received very well. We have proper math, math the site, and it's just you're on a hilltop, aren't they? So that's all very well, you can get from here to B miles away, but what about just below the mast? And after the cover map, you could try some angle brackets to allow the array to be sort of angled down. It may be sort of 30 degrees or something like that. It didn't go down very well. It didn't go very well. I was in Wales once. Well, I've been on board many times. Flying out off the site. And all right, yeah, we got miles away. But it wasn't until I got a dipole on the top of the mast I was able to get satisfied coverage down below where it was wanted. And that's the thing, isn't it? Whenever you have a system, you want the information where you want it, not miles away where it's not wanted. Anyway, we succeeded by putting a simple ground pile where it got down to the bottom of the mast and around the valley. Well, much better. The element a world. So there you go. Your idea. Just my turns and it worked out all right. So it's interesting. And there's the race as well. Absolutely. Bit tricky. We'll never know whether you've really got it right on that. So there we go. And a very good morning to you there, Ian. Sounds like what you've been doing. Very interesting. Sounds a technical sort of thing. And I haven't been to the Eden project. Well, I'd love to go. I understand there's a proper ecosystem there. And I've been very close to it, but never actually sort of put my head in. It's one thing I'd like to do, but I don't have a bucket list. I've never had a bucket list. Never ever. But if I did have a bucket list, there'd only be one item on it, and that was go down to St. Paul. Before he got there, because I'm fascinated with what he has there. But I've never had a bucket list. Take things as they come. So, okay, I'm going to put across to you then, Martin. I gave you a call, and I'll say how you are. So over to you then, Martin, from G3QSK. I haven't forgot your call sign, G3YJ. Go ahead, Martin, please, over.
G3TSK, G3YJ, good morning. Quite a good signal actually this morning. Colin speaking 10 over 9, dipping down to about 8. Andy was, did touch strength 9 at one point, dipped down to strength 6. And Ian was 9, but wasn't really looking at the touch. 52. It's a lovely sunny day this morning. And just listening on the loop on the ground to see if it makes any difference. And what my general conclusion that they got the noise on the loop on the ground. It was no wasted effort, but it hasn't availed me of any improvement. Right, so not quite sure who we go is obviously Paul, and Paul, thank you very much for standing in this morning for me. I'm still working on this cheeky box. It's quite a complex device. So I put the aerial together and things, which works, but I won't be very good for running this morning. So thanks for standing in there this morning, and I shall reciprocate in a couple of weeks' time for you. Now, I don't have a list to whom to pass it, so I'm going to have to see if you can redirect your call. I'm on BBC G3YJ.
G3YJ, I'm on BBC. It does actually come to me, but I'm not spending too much airtime at the present moment. But must give the new joiners reports. Bob, you're between an 8 and a 9. You were Q5 throughout, so no problem with you. Ian, G6TVJ, very similar to Justin's report. You're peaking 40 over 9. Fair bit of QSB, but obviously Q5 all the time. Absolutely no problem. Fully quietening for most of it. And Colin, 10 over 9, Colin, it's a peak. All copied, no problem. You're always welcome, Colin. If you're in the area, always welcome. Yeah. And Martin, 20 over 9 on the 52 set. Again as a peak, because I'm getting a fair bit of QSB. There's this Rottweiler further up the band, which is bleeding down within 2K of us. So I'm only listening to 2K wide on the upper side band, and 3K wide, not quite 3K wide on the lower side band. So nothing ever changes. Typical weekend operation where I have to pull the filters in, destroy the audio of some of your beautiful transmissions, but I can hear what you're saying. 7-3 to those that have left. Ray, Mike and Andy, I think in that order. Hope you guys have a good day, and fully understood the guys that join the early morning net that don't stay for the main net. It is quite a trawl through, and it's certainly not a place where you want stations going on rambling, as it were. But we do get them. And when you got over 20 stations, which I wouldn't think we would have today for various reasons, but when you have, and people are taking 5-10 minute overs, they're not really thinking of other people. And invariably, if you've got a net that long, by the time you get to lost propagation. So I feel very sorry for people that call in and don't get a fair crack of the whip. So what I normally, I think I'll adapt what Martin did. If I hear a very weak station call in, when I ask for call-ins, I'll bring them in early on so that they can be heard. There's no point putting a very weak station right at the end of the list when we won't have propagation. Right, not for me. Let me see, it goes round to Bob. G0FTX, M1 PVC. Okay with you.
Good morning.
G0FTX, M1 PVC. Yes, there are a couple of stations bubbled on, so I didn't get either of them. Would you like to try again, guys, one at a time?
Mike Golf Alpha, good morning.
Got you, Martin. There was another station. Who was that? Yeah, got you, Dave. Should go to, well, no, you guys called in, Bob called in, so we'll bring you in now. G8 to take. If you can then put that to G8YFH, please, Dave. And then, Dave, we'll go around to Justin, GW0F7Y, and that keeps my list in order. Take it over, Martin. Looking forward to tomorrow.
M1 PVC, Mike Golf Alpha. Well, good morning, Paul. Good morning, everybody else on net. I've actually been listening since 5:45 this morning. Monitoring pieces and getting ready for tomorrow morning's net. Making sure that all my monitoring capabilities are in line. Talking about monitoring capabilities, I'm actually listening to Jonathan's Beverage aerial and receiver live on YouTube, which I think he sent the links out on the reflector, and he's actually running it live at the moment. So if anybody's interested in listening to his net on
under Beverage. It is on YouTube under the call sign GHURE, and to listening on the Beverage, which I have been doing, and northern stations are coming in really well on Jonathan's Beverage. In fact, I think Ray mentioned this morning that we had a QSO yesterday where I was using Jonathan's Beverage, and I also spoke to his wife and his nephew from Sutton as well, and both stations were Q5 yesterday afternoon, and there was quite amazing difference between this web SGR and Jonathan's Beverage. Very good. Okay, we'll move things on to Dave. Good morning to you, Dave. G8YFH. G8YFH. This is Mike 0, Mike Alpha.
GW0 FZY to take, M1 PBC. Yeah, Q5 for just there, Dave, built strength 8.
GW0 FZY returning. Yeah, thanks for that, Paul. I could hardly hear Dave, actually. I could sort of just about hear that he was there, but couldn't sort of figure out the end of his over. I thought he'd handed over to me, but I wasn't 100% sure, so thanks for confirming that. Morning to the new joiners as well. Give a few reports. Colin, morning to you, Colin, about 10 over 9. Martin, you're about 5 and 9, not as strong as you usually are, but anyway. And Martin MGA, about 10, 15 over 9, so good signal from you. And all notice about the net, D-Day net. Yeah, I might see if I can fire up a T1509 or something for that. something that's a bit more in keeping with the times. This Class C is probably a bit too modern, I think. But anyway, yeah, I'm not going to probably make this one my final as well. Actually, I'm not going to hang around for the main net. I'm going to got a few things to do. I've also got to go for a run today. Actually, I was sort of working, sort of doing a few on calls last week, so don't really get much chance to do anything during those 2-week cycles. But anyway, it's nice to be off now for a few weeks. So that's quite good. More time for radio. Anyway, I'll thank you for wish everybody a very good morning, and hope to catch you all again. So I'll pass it over to Andy. Was that right? In fact, what I'll do is I'll pass it to Paul, because I'm not 100% sure the order. So over to you then, Paul. M1 PVC from GW0 FZY, signing, just listening for a few more minutes.
Yep, 7-3 there, Justin. It goes to Ian. G6 TBJ to take, M1 PVC. Then on to Colin, please.
M1 BBC, G6 TBJ returning. Okay. Okay. Thanks for that, guys. So I've just put YouTube up on my phone, and I'm pretty good signal into Jonathan's QTH on his FT840. Only about 10 over 9, I think I am. So well done on that. Thanks for putting that up. That's fascinating. It's interesting to hear how you can hear other stations.
on the same setup. I'm also very envious because I can see your noise floor is like nothing. So very jealous of you. In fact, my signal on your radio is not much louder than what my noise floor would be at this QTH. But the ASO sounds pretty good. I've actually got one of those, and it doesn't work very well on AM. It sounds very muffled. So maybe you've got different filters or something in it. But anyway, well done on that. I love these remote things with for YouTube things. There was another gentleman had a YouTube set up for one of the other nets a while back, and it was quite interesting to see that. I think he was using a TRF, something much less sophisticated than what you've got there. Anyway, there we are. And well, yeah, quite mixed this morning propagation-wise. Still struggling a bit with Bob. Could hardly hear Andy at all, and even on the SDR. But Colin, morning to you. You're a good signal. Good 10 over 9 plus into Bristol. Martin, a good signal as always. You're a good signal, Paul. And then Trevor Martin, good signal on your setup there, about 15 over. And Dave, unfortunately, couldn't really hear Dave locally. But I could hear him on the web, the Western SDR, which is stalking away on my iPad in the background. Anyway, there we are. Not much else to report. As I say, quite had a busy work week. It's quite busy work-wise overall. The world has suddenly sort of has come back to life. Well, it has at the moment, but this Indian thing continues to threaten a number of big projects that I'm involved in. So we'll see where that all goes. Anyway, I'm going to disappear. I'll probably listen to the net, but I won't contribute to the net today. But I'll have it on in the background whilst we're doing other bits and pieces. So look at my list now, because Andy. Oh yes, Andy gone, and it goes over to Colin. So G3 TSK from G6 TVJ.
There's a caller. I didn't quite get you, but I'm quite sure that Martin did. This is Golf Tango Sierra Kilowatt. Very good signals from you there, Justin, and from Ian. Let's see, Martin was a 20 on his 52 set. Paul was a 20. Bob down the house, and yes, I did get you 15. And interesting, the first will send a series of small sort of lumps, very shallow lumps, and it is quite okay. No problem really with you there, Bob. And Martin, greater than 20, very much greater than 20. And Martin, this is M0MGA. I'll try and pop my head up, but it'll be on 8T5 at about 5 watts. But we'll try and pop my head up over the parapet on the 6th of June. My father-in-law, he actually landed on the beaches there. And when we went across the front, we took a look at the sandbank from the beach that he landed. He survived the war. He was in the medics. And I think it's affected him quite a bit. So there we are. And Dave, hardly heard you at all, Dave. Very, very weak. But I did hear just a little bit of you there. So there we go. I had a brilliant idea that putting an RF train down there. I remember very early in my service, I came to a very high mass, and the problem was to get the signal from the high mass down to ground level, and what we used there is what we call a transmitter, that transmitted the information down onto a dish at the bottom of the mast, collected the information and put it into the excursion. Another excursion, we had a very basic coaxial cable, and there was a pump attached to it, and I think the pump was maintaining the pressure for the gas that was inside the coaxial cable. And that was simply to maintain the signal in order to the system, the integrity of the system. So it was quite a complex there. And the coax cable was quite a diameter. My goodness, it was like 6 inches diameter. And the pump was occasionally going on to visualize things. It's interesting, all that. Synchronize is certainly the cue, isn't it? You have a microwave system. One of the microwave system has a brilliant synchronize, and you stick some sort of timing device on it, which degrades it as a sort of user level, if you like. And all that brilliant synchronize has been
work with the puzzle, but you don't put the top end of the wall. So you'll see the same photograph. This was the roof on the ground. Not too sure how far I got the ground, 6 inches. But out of the horizontal, and I have photograph. I read in the book. I read in the book. That's the vertical element. And that causes most of the problem. But the horizontal element, if you go high enough, or I would have thought low enough. So, rather interesting. And a bit of example how it works out. At least you did it. That was something, isn't it? And, alright, and the run there, I think it was Ian with his run there. And, how to go into the work this year. You do it in the end as well. It took the day in half by the time I've been on here. Go down and have my second breakfast, if you like. Get out and do the walk. Got back late yesterday, talking to people and what have you. Then it's time for a coffee, then it's dinner time. And then it's sort of a collection of maybe doing the crosswords. And 2 o'clock I come out in the sun. And then, of course, it's cocoa at about 3 o'clock. So you can say how my life is evolving at the moment. It's nothing. But it's can be quite pleasant of all the stuff around me, which is depressing me a little bit, as I can't seem to move because of it. So there we are. Okay, I'm going to pass the across to Martin on a 52 set now. So say, why Joe? You say, Joe. Martin, if you take a listen for that caller, please. Go ahead, Martin, please. Over.
Vibrations on during your transmission calling, but let me give a quick break for the caller if you'd like to come in. I did hear somebody, but I think it was too quick for me to catch the call line. G2 Roger listening.
I think it might have been G3 MHX.
G3 YJ, sorry. Thought it might be G3 MHX, so let's see if it was G3 MHX, G3 YJ. YJ, I think you heard Paul, did you copy anything?
A lot of carriers coming up all over the place. Usual Saturday morning bad manners. Back to you, Martin.
Yes, well, it's a very weak station there, but not to hear something. Anyway, some reports very quickly. Where are we? Ian plus 15, TVJ, Andy strength 9 at times, but dropping down to strength 6 also at times. Colin 9 plus 10, although you drop right down to strength 7 at the end of your roster rotation. So 9 plus 15 at the moment. And GZFGX strength 6, just about Q5 with the QSB. Dave YFH around about strength 5 and only just Q5. I was really having to pay attention. Justin 9 plus 10 and Martin MGA 9 plus 5. Mod sounding slightly rough, Martin. Not sure. I guess this is the carbon microphone, but not terribly distinct at times to my ears. Anyway, on the ground. It is on the ground, literally. So it's in the grass. The cut grass, so it's laying right hard on the ground, and then there's some coax up to here. And I'm receiving signals all okay on that because there's plenty of gain in the R107. Just turn up the audio gain, I can hear everybody. But there's no difference in signal to noise at the end of the day. I guess I need some more noise here to be able to judge whether it does make any difference under normal circumstances. But so it might be useful to somebody who's got a noisy background, but it doesn't seem to offer me much of an advantage here, unfortunately. And as I've been reporting for some weeks now, I've stripped down all the connections in the shack and recabled it all, but now in the process of
just connecting and wiring up the control box. So it means that at the moment I'm attached through to the loop aerial, and I can't do the diversity or switch aerials or switch rigs or anything like that. So it's a little bit more restricted than normal, other than listening on the loop, which I have on the second R107 in a glorious stereo. So that's the situation here. I was hoping to get it all finished this week, but as always, it turned out to be more complicated than I originally thought, and wasn't really exactly what to do. It took some time, so again, I appreciate it. Anyway, I will try and get it all sorted out today if I can, but I will be on tomorrow for the net, come what may, even if it's just the linked through antennas as it is at the moment. So with that, back to you, Paul, and leave a gap, see if the other stations would like to call in. M1PBC, G3YAO.
Delta Foxtrot Charlie received. Before that, I think Mike was there. G3 MHX tried to take an over there, Mike, and I'll listen on the Beverage antenna in Chichester. No, nothing heard. Let me bring in, now I've forgotten what the prefix was. Was it Mike 0 or G0? Anyway, Delta Foxtrot Charlie, if that station like to go ahead. M1PBC listening.
Good morning, it's Golden 0 Delta Foxtrot Charlie, G0 DFC.
Golf 0 Delta Foxtrot Charlie. Good morning, Liz. Think we're working to the first time. Understand you're in Suffolk there. You're peaking 5.9 here, but you're going down this QSB, but you're Q5 all the way through. I don't know if you wish to join the VMARS net, Les. You're more than welcome to. It starts in about 5 minutes' time, and I am net controller. My name is Paul. The call sign Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie, using an LG 300 receiver. So would you like to stay for the Les, would you like to stay for the VMARS net? If so, I'll put you on the list, and we'll bring you in reasonably early on the list. Just round to you to confirm whether you're staying or going. I think that was that you, Les? You were up frequency then. Go again, that station. Oh, that was you, Mike. Stand by a moment. I'm just trying to communicate with Les. G0 DFC, do you wish to stay for the VMARS net, Les? No response, so we'll cross you out, but good signal here, Les, really. Rosemary, taken over, G3 MHX, M1PBC.
We're all thrown away from
Anyway, I'm leaving you. I had COVID-19 in May. That's all right. I had problems with the microphone plug here. I've got
G3MHX M1 PVC. Yes, 12 is doing well, but a lot of carriers taking you out. A little bit high in frequency there, Mike. Good to hear you. If you hang around, I'll bring you in on the VMARS net very early on. Round to you, Martin. M0MGA, M1 PVC. About 3 minutes to go to the start of the net, Martin.
George 3 Yorker Harry, G3 YYH.
All right, for that hole, and interesting to hear G3 morning well. I'm listening on the Beverage aerial from Chichester, as well as Western SDR, as well as direct. So many comparisons going on this morning between various different aerials and people that on the team up. So all very interesting. I'm on the wireless set 12 with 813 amplifier. I probably just need to speak with a little bit more clarity rather than into the pillow talk as people might say. So a bit more clarity, allow the carbon granules to shake around a little bit, and that should be okay for tomorrow's net. The microphone is an old control tower microphone from RAF Livardy, I think the name is, in Northern Ireland, and carbon granule microphone. The same type of insert used with microphone number 4. The total length is probably about 3 metres long going from the 12 set. So slightly different to what people might hear me normally. Plus, I tend to regularly come on the net with the 321, so it's about time I came back to the 12 set, considering it's a D-Day weekend, and also running them up as net controller tomorrow. So back to you, Paul. M1 PVC, this is Mike 0, Mike Golf Alpha.
M0 Golf Alpha, Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie. Yeah, I thought it was the 12 set. That's perfectly okay. We know the audio is not BBC quality. It's a carbon microphone, but it's perfectly in order. Right, let me just put on frequency. And it's more or less net time, so I'll just say the following stations needn't call into the net because they are on my list in the following order: G3 MHX, K3 TSK, G8 YFH, G3 YJO, M0 MGA. Guys, you needn't call in. Right, it's about 4 seconds to go before the start of the net. So a very good morning to listeners and people that wish to join this net. You are listening to the Saturday morning VMARS net. This is an AM net to run on 3.615 megahertz or megacycles, as I believe I like to use, and I am the net controller. This station's call sign, Mike 0 Papa Victor Charlie. You needn't adjust your list. Martin and I have swapped this week, so Martin will be on my slot on the 26th. My location is in East Sussex on the Ashdown Forest, near the small village of Hartfield. That puts me 35 miles due south of London. I'm using a Labgear LG300 transmitter with another one in reserve, and using a Perseus SDR receiver. This net is, as I say, run every Saturday. It starts at 8:30 in the morning. It is for AM stations only, please. Do not use sideband because certain stations won't able to resolve sideband, but the control station can. But we would ask that you use AM. You don't need to be a VMARS member. Anybody is welcome to join as long as they're using AM. and you don't need to use vintage equipment. Again, the only requirement is AM. The other requirement, please, is do not tune up on frequency while the net is in session. And in a moment, I will give a 30-second tuning break for you guys to tune up, and then I will ask for people that wish to join in some sort of order, and we'll compile a list which I'll read out before we continue. So this then is, as I say, the Vintage and Military Amateur Radio Society Saturday morning AM net. Please tune on frequency now, please, to get maximum out of your transmitters and to get on frequency. 30-second tuning break starting now. And I will leave Well, that was the longest 30 seconds known to man. Anyway, here we go. So, are there any overseas stations wishing to call in from Europe or similar? M1PBC is listening.
This is Foxtrot 4 Victor Sierra Charlie. Good morning.
ASC acknowledged. Any other stations? Overseas, M1PBC listening. Nothing heard. Are there any portable stations or special event stations? M1PBC is listening.
Paul, there's a strong station double sideband with no carrier keeps trying to call.
Yes, I heard that, but without a carrier we can't resolve it, John. I'll have another listen. M1PBC listening. No, I'm going to put him down to QRM, John. Right. Any other stations then wishing to join the Saturday morning? John, I've got you, XHO. You needn't bother to call in again. Please spread yourselves out, guys. M1PBC is listening.
Mike Oscar, Mike. And if you click upper sideband, you can resolve that station. I'm not staying on. Good morning to everybody. G3MHX, if you're listening, Mike, I don't have your new contact details, so please find me via QRS.com and send me an email. But that station that was calling in on double sideband can be resolved if you flick to upper sideband there. 73.
I'm sure it can, Stuart, but it's an AM net, so I will desist. M1PBC listening, I only got one station there. You were all doubling with one another, and that was J6. Good morning, Martin. M1PBC listening.
LEO.
Golf for November Echo G0PNE.
Oscar, Mike. MW0 XHO.
AVI, Golf 6 Alpha Victor India.
Quite a few there, and some doubling, so I didn't get them all. Got Gerald Elio, Robin GNE, Alan LM, Tony YYH, and Bob AVI. Stations I missed, please call in now.
MW0 XHO. Uniform Radio Echo. Uniform Radio Echo.
I had you on the list anyway, John, and so XHO acknowledged, URE acknowledged. There was a very weak station. It may have been somebody like Laurie. If anybody heard that station, would that station like to call in again, or would anybody like to prompt me, please, and give me a bit of help on the weak station?
Hello?
Okay, out forever while the carrier's blocking us, but that's not being kind to other people on the net. There was a Mike 6 station calling in. Would you go ahead, please? Can somebody help me out with the Mike 6 call sign, please? I'm on BBC listening.
Golf Lima Delta, Golf Lima Delta.
Mike 6, Golf Lima Delta. Okay, I'll put him right near the top of the list because he's very weak here. And at least other people. Well, I think that's enough to go on with. I will leave gaps during the transmissions and the errors, and anybody who wishes to call in, please call in the gaps, and we'll give another call sign at the end of the list. The list then is in the following order. I will call in these stations. Foxtrot VSC is the first station. G3 MHX, the Mike 6 Golf Lima Delta station then. G3 TSK, G8 YFH, G3 YJO, M0 MGA, M0 XHO, G4 JSX, G3 LEO, G0 GNE, G4 MOM, G3 YYH, G6 AVI, G8 URE. Are there any other stations that I've missed? M1 BBC, doing a final listen before the net starts.
G8 CDC. Okay, this is G4 GN. Golf 4 Golf Echo November.
Couple of stations there. Got you, Alan. Who was the other station? M1 BBC listening. Right, there were two there. I think one was you there, Pete, XV. And who was the other station, M1 BBC listening?
Golf Bravo 0 Yankee Alpha Mike. GB0YAM, GB0YAM.
Okay. GB0YAM, again, I'm going to put you in after the M6 station, so you're number 4 there, Jen, as you're very weak with me. And we'll leave Alan and Pete at the end of the list. I hope that's okay. So, let's let the net commence then. Round to you, Ian. F4 VSC, M1 PVC, VMARS net control.
Yes, okay, Paul. Thanks very much, and good morning to you from Foxtrot 4 Victor Sierra Charlie. One of the stations that called in was G8 CDC. Both a Charlie Delta Charlie also called in. The conditions here are not very good, Paul. But I've put here 10 GB 01. So welcome back to the museum there, Ken. Nice to hear you back on there. But I'm not sure if it was Pete and not the other one, the other Peter. I'm on the DX100 this morning and running up to the route. My one and only transmission on this net this morning, so just to say that I heard about 70% of the stations that called in, and some of the more distant ones I could hear reasonably well. So I'll leave it at that, Paul, and I'll say something for a very good morning and put it back to you from Foxtrot 4 Victor Sierra Charlie.
Fox 4, Victor Sierra Charlie, M1 PVC. Well, peaking an 8 with me. You're just about Q5 all the way through, but a little bit scratchy. Having to listen hard, but I understand you're using about 300, but summer propagation is as it is. So well done on that transmission there, and let's see how other people received you. Ian, understand you're not coming back for the second round. Right, let me try Mike in Stevenage. G3, MHX to take, M1 PVC.
M1 PVC after 16 Okay. Sorry if I was not speaking to you before. I've got to use the onto a carrier from the frequency. So anyway, yeah, I saw I had COVID-19 in 2016. What it was, I've stopped it there. Maybe I've been with COVID-19 in the hospital. And so I was there for 3 days. Do you want participation? I said no. I think I was going to say this is my phone, very easy very much, you know. I'm the disease, but maybe my voice is very clear. Yeah, and we do want to see our 100. If for some reason you have to keep changing the range to get the sensitivity back. I don't know what's wrong. I'm so old. I got it when I was 15 years old. My father bought it to me back in when I was 66. So there you go. The wave change switch has gone wrong, but I've got an old scale 100 receiver here, and I can put the front end, you know, I'm messing about with a motorbike. It's a 1979 Yamaha. It was a giant 160 coil. Just on the end there was intimate, and the thing wouldn't start the front. It took me ages to find it, but eventually I got it. Anyway, I won't more people. So I'm going to talk it back to you more. Okay, I've got no address numbers here because
these people took away a lot of liquor. They took away the diary, big diary, with all the telephone numbers. Anyway, I've gone on, so I'll pass it back, Paul. Thank you very much. GCM, HSM, 1PDC, over.
Click on the button. The station that just called in, go again.
I'm going to do some work, so YJO not staying.
Okay, Martin, good to hear you on this morning. We'll cross you off and hope you have a good day. Right, okay, Mike, well, you're peaking 8 with me. Q5 throughout, Mike. Good transmission on that Bendix. I think you said you weren't staying for the next round, but good to hear you on. Right, let me try Robert. I might need some help with this station. Mike 6, Golf Lima Delta, Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie, female's net control calling you in, Robert. Mike 6, Golf Lima Delta, Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie. Not too much copy there. Bad about readability too. You're right in my noise at S7, Robert, but thanks for trying. Other stations will have heard you, so you'll get reports from them. Right, let me put it round to Ken as a special event station. GB0 YAM to take, Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie calling you in.
Yes, Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie, Golf Bravo 0, Yankee Alpha Mike Hotel. Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. For those that don't know me, the name here is 10 Kilo Echo November, operating from the Yorkshire Air Museum, and the antenna is a 264 foot horizontal. So fairly low power this morning. Back to you, Paul, England PVC, this is GB0YAM.
GB0 YAM England PVC, 5-8 throughout, Ken. So command set working well. And I didn't hear you call in. Probably other people swamped you. Good to hear you, Ken. Right. Let's keep with the low power stations, which I found difficult, and I'm going to bump a couple up the list. G7DXV to take, Pete, M1 PVC listening for you. Nothing heard, I'll give another call. G7DXV, G7DXV, you're being called in by M1 PVC. No, oh well, we'll wait and see if he calls in at the end. G8CDC, who I didn't hear call in, G8CDD, CDC. Are you there, Peter? Getting tongue-tied.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Golf 8 Charlie Delta Charlie. Good morning, Paul. Thanks for running the net this morning on the 29th set. Thanks for talking to us early. My QCH for anybody that doesn't know, has managed to install about 5 parties in Livingston Spa and Warwickshire. My 29th set lovely weather here this morning, and obviously I one to say that thanks for running the net before, and I won't hold it too long, but Ian, you this morning, VSC, you were very readable, good signal from you. Robin I couldn't hear, but Ken, you have good copy, very good copy. And Paul, by the way, you were, I mean, I'm estimating here, but 20 plus at times during my show, went unreadable now. Fair amount occurred to me. So anyway, pass back to you, Paul, G8CDC, with the back to you at 1 BBC, over.
G8CDC, M1PBC. Yes, okay, Peter. We're peaking 5 over 9 here. We're in summer propagation, guys, and I can fire up something a little bit more severe on the airs if it need be, but at the present moment we'll stick with the LG300. Right, let's go back to the original order then. I'll call in Colin, Dave and Martin MGA. Then I'm going to bump Tony right up the list because he's going to be a busy man today. G3YYH. Stand by, Tony, and be called in 3 stations time. G3TSK to take, M1PBC.
Yes, Paul, thank you very much indeed there, and thank you for running the net there. I'm much obliged for your time and your effort there. This is Gulfstreet and look at it, not too far from my head. As I look out through the window, all I can see is blue sky, so it looks like a nice day. I'm on the KJ 835, Thunder amplifier, and just less than 20 watts counter. And take this next home, from a tape recorder from the 1950s or thereabouts. So what I thought it was, now we're coming to 20, pretty constant now. Ian on his AX40, a good signal I've got, 15 Ian, and quite good actually, quite a good signal. Mike MHX, very, very weak Mike, but lovely to hear you on, and I hope you're keeping well. Robert M6G LD, not much at all. In fact, I didn't get anything, to tell you the truth, for a profile round. China also, 48% 25, 254 foot loop. That's a long loop, Ken. But you're coming through here at about 4 and 8, the 4 and 8 cents. So that's where you want to go. First signals from Pete, and from Peter, CDC on the 29 cents from White and Spa, which is up north. A good 15. So there you go. Nice to hear you all on. It's a rather difficult copy some. Yeah, but I've got to go from over. I will look for a few of it. So thank you again. I'm going to go for your company. I'll put it back to you. Wait to us. Go ahead, it's over.
G3TSK, M1PVC, 5 over 9, Colin on the AT5 plus amp. So, good signal there. I think you might have said that you weren't coming back. I'll give you a call on the second round, Colin. But if you're not there, you're not there. And we'll pass on. Right, let's go round to Dave. G8YFH, M1PVC, calling you in if you're still there, Dave. No, Dave. He was on the pre-net on low power, but didn't stay. M0, MGA. Martin, taken over, please, Martin. M1PVC net control.
M1PVC, this is Zero Mike Alpha and MGA, aka tomorrow it will be George Beer 0 Don when we're on the D-Day net from 6 in the morning until 9 British summer time. So look forward to people coming on net tomorrow morning with their vintage gear in commemoration of the D-Day landing. So no worries, Martin. TH of Whitehill in, or near to Longmoor Camp in Hampshire, operating wireless cocktail along with 813 amplifier, and that's feeding the half-wave dipole. listening on 3 different receivers, directly on the R107, on the Western SGR, and which is located at Western Superman, and on a Beverage aerial located in Chichester, pointing north. So it's very interesting doing some comparisons this morning between direct, Beverage, and what the Western SGR is saying. It's quite interesting topic. And it's a shame we don't have Laurie on yet this morning, because I was hoping to hear Laurie on the Beverage, a very northerly station. Indeed, Cecil. So there's still time yet. Signal strength, Paul, you're directly 5.9 plus 10. The G3MHX, great to hear you this morning, Mike. 3 and 3 direct, but 4 and 4 on the Beverage. Colin, TSK, good morning to you, 5 and 9 direct. With your 20 watt amplifier, effects will be 85. Lovely to hear that. And Ian from Central Brittany on your X100, 5 and 9 directly. Lovely to hear you on this morning, and no doubt we'll see you on the VMAR auction, whilst we'll all be muted, as long as they don't take it as a bid. Okay, and M6GLG, Robert, 3 and 3, unfortunately, 3 and 3, so I could just tell that you were there. GACDC on that lovely 29 set. Peter, good morning to you, 5 and 8 direct, and I particularly like the modulation. It's good for my ears. It just gets those frequencies coming through, so it's really good, that 29 set. And nothing from Pete, DX3, if you're listening, Pete, so I hope to hear you on net tomorrow morning. And GB's YAN, very interesting, good morning to you. 2 and 3 direct, but on the Beverage area, which is further south than me, 5 and 7. 5 and 7 on the Beverage aerial, but just a 3 and 3 direct. That was a very interesting little experiment to listen on that. Thanks for running that, Paul. We'll keep things moving. I will be disappearing off at 9:45. So depending how net goes, at least the mail dropped off, and same with other people that are on the auction. Back to you, Paul. M1 PVC, Mike 0, Mike Golf Alpha.
Mike 0, Mike Golf Alpha, Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie. Well, top of the top at present until it comes on again. You're 25 over 9 with me. Lovely signal. Yes, I didn't know when you guys were going to assemble on the auction. And I'm going to bring in Tony in a minute, because I know he's in the thick of it. But I hope that auction all goes well, guys. But I'm not in attendance. I'll have to hear how it goes from others. G3 YYH to pick up M1 PVC.
Thanks, Paul. M1 PVC and the VMAR Saturday morning next, G3 YYH. The name is Tony, Tango Oscar November Yankee, QCH 5 miles southeast of Cheltenham in the Cotswold Hills. It's a lovely sunny day. My QCH is at 600 feet right level, just approaching 1,000 feet, or just short of 1,000 feet. And today I'm using TX100 RA17, a static Eagle D104, homebrew balance tracking unit, and 100 metre horizontal loop, variously at 30 and 40 feet. And I've been thinking about how to go about doing the to work out if I'm a danger to the public, or potential danger to the public. I should be careful of my words. And it proves to be remarkably difficult, particularly since we don't have the algorithm yet when it's supposed to use. Thank you for bringing me in early, Paul. Yes, I do need to go and get myself sorted. I want at least another cup of tea before sitting down at 9:30 and starting to warm up the auction. It was an interesting experiment, with the emphasis on the word experiment. I use the word experiment because experiments do go wrong, don't they? And experimentally, we're trying to do an auction this way, and this experiment may or may not work. We'll find out. There are 27 people registered to bid online, and a number of people who've put in proxy bids. So we'll just see how it goes. And if it works, we'll do it again. If we'll learn from the experience, improve if necessary. And if it really, really doesn't work, we won't do it again. It's that straightforward. Conditions interesting. I'm hearing most stations quite well.
Ian in France was 5 and 8 to 9. Mike MHX was not good, 3 to 4 I would say. Readability 3 to 4, strength 7. Ken was readability 5, strength 7 to 8. Very good to have you back at the museum, Ken. That's really good news. And Peter, CDC. I quite often struggle with you, Peter, and I've given you a 3 and 6, I'm afraid, and that's the best we can do today, partly because of conditions. But it was good to talk to you during the week. I shall be joining the DJ commemoration net tomorrow at some stage using my wireless set 19, and looking forward to that. I can't stay very long because I've got a responsibility tomorrow morning, which I need to go and do. I need to be effectively clear by 9:30, so I shall stay for some time in there. So we'll see how we go. Martin, I'm grateful to you. Martin MGA, grateful to you for picking up on the running of that net and for arranging the special event call sign George Beer 0 Don. Anyway, back to you, Paul. You will have gathered this is my one and only, so good luck with the rest of the net. Hope it goes well and conditions allow decent communications. M1 PVC G3YYH.
G3YYH, M1 PVC. Well, peaking 15 over 9, Tony. You're going down at the end there, so hopefully you're copying this. Hope the auction goes well. I will make myself popular by announcing, Tony. You've probably been told that by others, but one of the lots is described as an Avo Model 7. It is not a Model 7, it is indeed a Model 8. 20,000 ohms per volt, and probably one of the best meters that Avo made, because the one that looks all splendid is a horrible thing. So there you go. Somebody's saying, why did he say that? Why did he say that? Hope it goes well for you, Tony. Right, let's go back to the original list in the order I heard people call in. So it goes to Conway. MW0XHO M1 PVC.
MW0XHO returning with M1 PVC and the VMARS group. Well, conditions are disastrous for me, but it's a great net. Lovely people coming on with some interesting equipment, and you're coming through very nicely with the LG 300. But the signal strength are dramatically reduced from the normal, and I've got a lot of background mush. And your signal was between 7 and 8 in signal strength, but 100% readable. Ian in France, 100% readable at 5 and 7. Mike MHX, just heard. No sensible copy, unfortunately. YJO Martin, 5 and 8. Robert M6 GLD, just heard. Ken YAM, 100% copy Ken, 5 and 9, and then it went varied between 9 and 7. Pete CVX didn't come back at all. CDC Peter, well, that's 29 set. What a great audio on it. It just gives me 100% copy here. Yeah, it's so clear. And you were 5 and 8 to 9 with that, Peter. Very great, very nice audio. Okay. The 825 doing good, it's sounding really nice. 5 and 8 is Conway. IFH not heard. MGA, well, lovely mod on that. And what I noticed is that it's positive mod. The signal strength is 7, but on modulation it goes up to 9. So you've got that set up very nicely. YYH Tony, good signal, 5 and 9, DX100 working very well indeed. Good luck with the auction, and that's the stations I've heard so far. So it's back to you, Paul, and the VMARS net, MW0XHO, Conway, North Wales.
MW0XHO. Is that the T368 there, John?
Yes, sorry, the equipment is the T368 on low power, just on the tune setting, and the R210 receiver, which I gave them all those reports with, but stations I can hear them all direct. Back to you, Paul.
MW0XHO M1 PVC. There was a station that just called in there. We'll leave a gap to bring in the next station if you'd like to call in again if you're trying to join the net. Yep, okay, John. No, the reason I asked for low power, yes. Well, you were almost 5 over 9, John. So lovely signal from you. But QSB, as you say, it's summer propagation. There's not much we can do about it. Just make the best we can. Right, let's go to Brinklow then. G2 JSX to take M1 PVC, VMARS net control.
M1 PVC, G4 JSX, George 4 Juliet, Sierra X-ray. Well, good morning, Paul, and good morning, everybody else. My name is Martin, and my location is Brinklow, near Coventry. And this morning, running the Admiralty Type 643 DJP2, a synthesized outfit made by Redifon, a 1970s design, with 100 watts PEP oil immersed PA. So I have just over 25 watts of carrier on board at the moment. And that 25 watts goes to a homebrew balanced ATU. And thereafter, via 80mm spaced open wire feeder to a loop antenna or roof, about 90 meters in circumference. And conditions this morning, good, but with deep QSB for me. Atmospheric conditions here at the moment, 30.1 inches of mercury or 1020 millibars. As quick as I can, you report Paul, you're 5 and 9 with QSB. MHX was 2 and 2 at best. Colin, TSK 5-8 with QSB. MGA 5-9 QSB. Your 4 Victor Sierra Charlie 5-7 with very deep QSB. YY80 Tony 7-9 QSB. John XHO 5-9 with very deep QSB. Charlie 5-8. That's the story from Brinklow here. 643C3P206. The Redifon consists of GK2 story. Thanks for letting me in early. I jumped in early because I was going to the auction. I wanted to get in early, which is not right. Well done. I won't be back for the second round. Mike 1, Papa Victor Charlie, George 4 Juliet, Sierra X-ray.
G4 JSX, M1 PVC. Not much I got back there, but I'll try to do better next time. 5 over 9, fairly constant 5 over 9 on the Redifon Admiralty kit there. Doing a grand job as normal. Hope you do well with the auction there, Martin. And, well, yes, I brought in a few people perhaps before you that wouldn't have normally been there, but luckily we got you in with plenty of time to spare. So have a great day. Let's go to the Ripon area. G3 Leo, Gerald, taken over please. Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie VMARS net control calling you in.
On PVC and the net from G3 LEO, and I'm certainly delighted to take it over, Paul. First of all, very good morning to you and everyone else. Copying you a good 5 and 8 to 9, Paul, with QSB, loafing along on your LG 300 there. Most of the stations I'm copying 5 and 9, 5 and 9 plus. For instance, Martin is 5 and 9 plus, John in Conway 5 and 9 plus, and of course Ken, who's most local to me, 5 and 9 plus. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, but you're about 5 and 6, and Mike, G3 MHX I think it is, only 4 and 5, and Robert 4 and 5. Otherwise, not too bad. It's all direct, Paul. Well, I'd like to wish all those involved in the auction the very best of luck this morning. I think it's a wonderful thing to tackle. I don't suppose goofers like yours truly can actually tune in and listen to it, can they? Not actually take part, but see it happen. I don't think that's possible, which is a pity. And Martin, M0MGA, with 12 sets, sounds absolutely wonderful, Martin. But then, of course, I am a bit biased. I didn't know you were running a special DJ Net tomorrow, and I'll do my level best to flash up the old My 12 set and see if I can compete with you. So with that, Paul, oh, by the way, I'm using the modded 19 set, and for those who don't know, we're quite close to Ripon in North Yorkshire. The name's Gerald, of course. G3LEO and the group by FM1 PBC.
G3LEO M1 PBC. Well, between 8 and the 9 on your 19 set, and spending most of the time nearer to the 9 than the 8. Q5 all the way through there. I almost put you down as a set 12. Just as well that I waited there. It's working very well for you, Gerald. So good to hear you on. Right, let's go instead. G0 GNE, Robin. Taken over, please, Robin. M1 PVC, D-Miles net control.
The loop around the garden, which is 80 metres. All is going well, I hope. And very steady at that. A little bit of phasing or QSD and F4BSD, you're fine and fine. Nothing hurt, it's all direct stuff, by the way. GLC, Robert, nothing hurt, I'll say. On the floor, it's very strong, but audible, really. GSB, nothing hurt. 5 and 9, very nice quality. GSK, Colin. I'm really enjoying this. It's very interesting. MGA, good solid 5 and 9 with no fine, John. 25 and 5 and 7. And it was the band was just a wee bit noisy on you. Or nevertheless. Western SDL.
G0 GNE, PVC, we're peaking 5.9 there. A little bit of a pulling of the carrier with the audio. Seemed to be jumping about slightly, but didn't detract, and I'm listening synchronous detection, and probably anybody listening normal detection wouldn't notice anything there. Just makes a slight bump on the audio when it does a little bit of a wiggle. It's done that before, Robin. Don't think there's anything at all serious. Nice signal. Good to hear you on. So well done on that. Right, about 4 stations to go to the end of my list, and then I'll give another call out. So we'll go to Wooden Ferris. G4MOM to take, M1 PVC.
M1 PVC on the VMARS group, this station Golf 4 Mike Oscar Mike. Yeah, good morning Paul. Thanks for running it this morning. And for those that don't know me, name's Alan. Location is Woodham Ferrers, as you correctly said Paul. And I'm running a 618T3 this morning, as some of you may have already recognised with the roar of the fans in the background. I've done a bit of chat to the antenna this end, so we're using a loop, not particularly high, but everybody seems to be coming in okay. Bit of QSB around this morning. And it's actually stopped raining after yesterday's deluge. Didn't get to do much at all outside, but it's catch-up day today. Okay, signal reports. Looking to me, 5 and 8, Robin, with QSB on the 321, no problem. Jill on the O, readability 4 to 4 Jill, not as strong as usual, with QSB. Martin, solid 5 and 9 with QSB. In fact, they'll stop going with QSB because everybody's got a bit of QSB on them. John XHO, I've heard you much stronger, John, but I think somebody else mentioned must be conditions. Tony YYH, 5 and 9 on the DX100, good signal. Martin, 5 and 9 plus. These are all by here, of course, if the 618T doesn't have an edge meter, as most of you know. Colin CSK on the 85, lovely signal Colin, 5 and 9. Peter CDC on the 29 foot, Q5. Good audio, good cutting audio, that 29 foot. Ken YAM up there in Yorkshire, a bit of OTP4 Ken, not too strong with me, but could get the gist of your order. M6GLD just detected a few words, not too strong at all into Essex this morning. And G3MHX, readability 4, but got a few words there. And Ian, if you're still listening, F4VSC, Q5, not too strong, but fully copyable. Okay, and to the station that's G8URE, isn't it? It's put the Beverage on YouTube. That's very kind of you. I'm sitting here with my Mac laptop, looking at the meter. So well done on that. Back to you, Paul. I doubt that I'll be about for another one, but I shall be listening on the remote phone. Thanks for running it. M1 PVC and the VMARS group Golf 4 Mike Oscar Mike. Over.
G4 MOM, M1 PVC. Well, if there's any doubt, we'll try to call you. And if you're not there, you're not there, Alan. But you're 20 over 9 on the 618T. It's working exceptionally well. And yes, the Beverage fan is quite noisy, but that's all part of the charm of the set, isn't it? Good to have you on there, Alan. And yes, well, I'm going to call Jonathan in a short while, but it's a good thing you've done there, Jonathan. I have accessed it this morning, but I can only use an iPad, and that wretched thing closes itself down if you don't touch the screen after a very short time, so it's not really usable. I thought it might help me out, but no, it's not really usable under the conditions that I'm using it. Anyway, let's go to Watton. G6 AVI, Bob. Taken over, Bob, from Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie VMARS Net Control.
M1 PVC, G6 AVI. Oh dear, I think I've got some feedback. Oh dear, what's going on? No, sorry about this. I don't think I can continue, I suppose, today.
I can hear it coming from the amplifier. Oh dear. Hang on. Well, I'm in a funny stance at the moment. I can't see my notes, but it seems to have stopped. I'll just check with you, Paul. Is it okay to continue from G6OVI?
Yeah, perfect now, Bob. Continue.
Okay. Thanks for earlier. Now, it's stopped. Well, this is just G6OVI bending over and trying to stop this terrible feedback, which has caught me by surprise. Horrible noise. No, I don't think I can continue. I can't see anything. I'm looking at. I'm almost horizontal looking at the floor. I'm going to have to arrange something a little bit better. But conditions this morning are not very good here in Norfolk. G4M was the strongest. He climbed from plus 10 up to plus 45. And everybody else is not even reaching the 9. Many stations not heard. The only consistent station was yourself, Paul, to just over the 9. Many stations not heard at all. So reciprocity doesn't work here for reception against transmission, so I don't know how to get on in 2 weeks' time. But interesting to know that there's a Beverage aerial that can be listened to. If you could let me know the details of that, I think it's something I must arrange to listen to on net control in a couple of weeks. It seems my area is not good enough really to see even half the stations that have been on today. So back to you there, Paul. M1 PVC, G6AVI. I'll try and sort out something for the next over.
G6 AVI, M1 PVC. Yes, okay there, Bob. Absolutely no problem when it's not squawking. So you're putting out a big signal there, receiving one. Well, the next station is the one responsible for the Beverage experiment. I think it's a temporary thing, but Jonathan will fill you in. So let's go round to Jonathan, Bob, and he'll answer your question. G8URE to take M1 PVC.
Good morning, Paul. This is George 8 Uniform Radio Echo. Let's listen live. That's a lot better. Okay. Give myself a bit more audio as well. That's better. Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jonathan, G8URE, and it's nice sunny Sussex here. And yesterday it was raining all day, but we needed it. Name's Jonathan, QTH Chichester, running the C13 high power, about 75 watts into a dipole aerial. And I've got the Beverage terminated at the moment, so hopefully it's not too distorted on the other feed there. So on the receive using the Beverage, and this morning I've been sharing it live on YouTube as it's been said on the air here. It's actually a practice for tomorrow. So live streaming has been a bit of a big learning curve for me. Messing around with computers like this, not quite the same as with a soldering iron, but encouraged by Martin M0MGA. So anyway, we managed to get it working just last night for a quick test there. So looking forward to the D-Day net commemoration net tomorrow, and being earlier in the day, hopefully conditions will be be much better there. And hopefully I'll either get I will have the 19, or possibly if I can get the 76 up and running, ready for that. So I haven't got too many signal reports here. Been busy running around. But Robin, you're better here on the dipole than on the Beverage, and actually that's true with you, Paul, as well, and a number of other stations. But hopefully the Beverage is quite good at pulling in the northern stations there. So thanks for running the net. I will be here for the second round, and as you can probably tell, I've got a bit of a sore throat. Right, over to you, Paul. M1 PVC from George 8 Uniform Radio Echo, over.
G8 URE, M1 PVC. Well, I'd written your report down as 10 over 9. And then, of course, the moment I wrote it, you hit 15 over 9, Jonathan. So it's working well, your station. And yes, the Beverage certainly seems to work very well, as you say, with the northern stations. But when I tried it on Mike, who's in Stevenage, it gave me no improvement, and I was actually getting him direct just as well as the Beverage. But certainly the northern stations I start to lose, certainly this time of the day. Although Gerald is a good signal still. I think it depends on their aerials, etc. But very nice experiment there, and it seems to work well, Jonathan. Maybe you should ask for donations and run it a bit more often on VMARS net. But anyway, looking forward to tomorrow, and let's see how it works then. And almost the bottom of my list. Round to you, Alan. G4 GN M1 PVC.
Okay, G4GN. Stand by, I'll just go to my Okay, right, well, I'm in high power now. Well, pretty well, there's no problem. And I was interested to hear about discussion on the Beverage. The first time I saw one sort of seriously used in anchor was when we were pulling out in Hong Kong, and they had a signals truck here with a Beverage antenna terminated by a whacking brake resistor pointing at great circle, of course. Anyway, it was working extremely well, and they had a Raycal 1772 receiver within the radio check they were using, a 1772 receiver, and one of those Raycal not very high power transmitter, and they were absolutely working no trouble to Hong Kong using the Beverage antenna. And, I hate saying, I never should say that, aerial, if we're English. Anyway, so I was kind of impressed, really, because it wasn't very high powered. It was absolutely and the signal float explained to me that the Beverage is a travelling wave aerial as compared to a standing wave aerial, which is most of our ones do, and therefore it's more efficient, he said, because I asked why they got the terminating resistor. I've never really seen one before, and anyway, all I could know is that they ran very well. But I would have thought that for short distances, they were not all that good, really, you know, the travelling wave antenna, aerial. And well, anyway, for those that don't know, the name here is Alan. The QTH is Nutley in the Ashdown Forest. In fact, I'm not in Nutley, really. I'm up the hill, more in the middle of the forest, and I'm just the other side of the hill from my friend and neighbour, M1 PVC, who has helped me a great deal and made this lovely contraption, which is enabling me to fire and music thing, so that I can operate this German radio, the E52, with the telephone, with the wireless set 53, and it seems to work very well. And anyway, that's about it. But as I said, the Beverage aerial seems to really, really work. But I didn't know it was much good over short distances. I would have thought that it comes into a really long distance. But, I don't know anything about this at all. As far as I'm concerned, I think the most efficient way, if you read Lou McCoy's book, which I think is the Bible for aerials, and he says the best thing for your buck is as long a double it as you can fit where you are between two trees, fed with 450 open feeders and a balance, and he said that will, of course you have to have an aerial matching unit, but to match the transmitter. But he said that is the best thing you can do, and cheap and efficient, and I suppose it is. I use this Harris RF610 and the 625 long wire adapter. I think it works very well. I mean, the thing is, you just key the transmitter and it all goes for it. Tunes very, very quickly. And I got that for scrap price because it was supposed to go to the Saudi Arabian embassy in Brussels, and for that reason the order was cancelled. So the donation had to be sold for scrap. So I got it very cheaply. I could never afford that. And oddly enough, Harris's were very good to me. And I filled in the guarantee card for a loss, see. And they came back to me and they said, we wonder what happened to it. And is there anything to do for you? And I said, well, I'd like some of the little balls, because it seems to be missed. So they sent me sort of, and I found out now that they're the same as the panel lights of most light aircraft. Anyway, there we are, and enough of me, I should have thought. This is G4GN, and one we see.
G4GN, M1 PVC, yes, okay, Alan. Well, no point giving you a report, is it? Especially high power. Yeah, working well, Alan. Audio is very nice on that setup. Right, that's the end of the list, 17 stations so far. Before I go up to the top of the list, I'm going to ask if there's any other people wishing to join this net. This net is run every Saturday morning by VMARS. It's an AM net, amplitude modulation, on 3.615 megahertz, or megacycles as I prefer. And anybody's willing to join. You don't have to be a VMARS member, neither do you need to be using vintage equipment or military equipment. All we ask is you use AM, but that is a requirement. We did have a station calling in that wasn't AM, and I took the executive decision not to try to resolve him, because it is an AM net, so if that station's listening, sorry about that, but it does make the net problem if other modes are tried and used. So all we ask is carrier. Carrier is essential for AM. Anyway, this station M1PBC listening. Does anybody wish to join this net before I go to the top? Or more to the point, give a little bit of spiel about VMARS before I go to the top. M1PBC listening for any new joiners. Brief area, but nothing there. So you're listening to the Saturday morning VMARS AM net. VMARS is a society, the Vintage and Military Amateur Radio Society, set up in 1999 by a lot of like-minded radio amateurs interested in vintage gear, military gear, and vintage modes. And it encompasses not only communication now, but radar, mine detectors, a lot of vintage stuff. I could speak for quite a long time, but there's no need, because we have a website. You'll find it on vmars.org.uk, and it's a beautiful website, which I believe is looked after by one of our members in France, and he does a grand job. A lot of information there, and there is also an archive of manuals, circuit diagrams, and various information to help restoration and use of this vintage equipment. There is no need for a password. All can access that. So if you've got a bit of old equipment, you want to know something about it, look at that site. There's also a lot of other interesting news articles and video clips. Well worth a look, anybody that doesn't know about us. We're now about 600 members, and we're always keen for more. We have an excellent journal, published quarterly, best in class, no adverts in it, usually about 60 pages of technical and very interesting stuff. Nothing actually surpasses it on the hobby front, and the cost of the subscription to VMARS, as I say, is cheap when you're getting such quality publication material. Right, and that's over. Let's go back to the top of the list. I will call in Robert, but I don't think he'll be there. Mike 6, Golf Lima Delta to take, M1PBC. If you're still there, Robert. No, nothing seen. Let's see if Ken is still there. GB0, YAM. M1PBC listening for you, Ken.
Yes, M1PBC, GB0, YAM returning. Yes, fine call, very good copy indeed. I'm not going to dwell too much on the signal report. Copied everybody apart from the G3 MHX M6 GLD. Was a struggle with them, but everybody else has been reasonable copy, if not strong. Very, very hot this morning, Paul, up here in Yorkshire. The sun's shining into the old control tower here, and I'm just about roasted here, Jay. So, 73's Paul, many thanks for running the show, and I hope to be on tomorrow morning from here, and take part in the D-Day. M1PBC, this is GB Yankee Alpha Mike.
GB0YM, M1PBC. Yes, difficult copy that time, Ken. Good in parts like the curate's egg, but going well down, and I didn't have the ability to go onto the Beverage site. So thanks for calling in, Ken. Hope you have a good day. Hopefully we'll hear you tomorrow on the D-Day net. Looking forward to that. Right, let's go to Peter. G8CDC, M1PBC, listening for you, Peter.
Yes, morning again. Heavy QSB this morning, getting
well, up and down at Q5 throughout, Peter, just. Great to hear you. Yes, have a good weekend, Peter. Good to hear you on the net. Let's try Colin and then we'll try to fit it. Somebody may have gone by now. G3 TSK to take, M1 PBC. No, I think Colin said he was gone. Let's see if Martin is there. M0 MGA, M1 PBC. No, looks as though he's ready for the auction. So the list diminishes. Round to you, John. MW0X8 show, if you're still on frequency, M1 PBC.
Yep, MW0X8 show, still here in Conway on the North Wales coast. Lovely cold, but very poor conditions for having an AM this time of the year. But still, some very interesting equipment and signals today. After my last over, the next station was Martin JSX. I always have a strong signal with Martin on his CJP equipment especially. For 25 watts it's really good. 5 and 8. Gerald Elio, we always have the Magic Heart 5 and 9, one of the strongest signals today. Modified 19 sets, amazing Gerald. Robin GNE, we struggle. And he started off at just heard, so went up to 5 and 7. Alan MON, you'll normally go after him, but very little signal today from you, Alan. I couldn't catch what you were using or anything. I just heard that you were there in the noise. AVI Bob, well, he did have feedback. I mean, there was a loudspeaker on the microphone, but the audio was still excellent, even with the howling. So 100% heard, no problem at all. Jonathan URE, top of the shop on the signal, 5 and 9. And then Alan, the last station before me now, was always good. Alan, great to hear the 53 set on, and 5 and 7 to 9, Alan. Thank you very much for running the net. Like you, I'm not attending the auction. I've already committed to too much stuff, and if I was logged in, I'd be bound to go and bid on something that would just add to the huge pile of things that I'm never going to get round to, owing to age and everything else catching up with me at last. So back over to you, Paul. Grand job running the net. MW0XHO, back to M1 PBC.
MW0X8 M1 PBC. Yes, very good signal, still standing up nicely, John. Well, I was in the same boat. I don't have the space for anything, and most of the things that were of interest I already had, and I certainly didn't need 3 more Avos, because at the last count I had 14 here. I always pick them up if I see them cheap at radio rallies, because I like repairing them. So there you go, they do slowly diminish. Anyway, there we go. Hopefully it'll be a good auction. Right, let's carry on. Hope you have a good week ahead there, John, and perhaps we'll hear you tomorrow on the D-Day net. G3 Leo to take, M1 PBC.
M1 PVC in the group from G3 Leo. Still here, Paul, although I've changed to the 12 set. Quick rundown on the reports that I didn't give previously. Robin, GNE, good 5 and 7. AVI, 5 and 8 to 9 with a bit of feedback. URE, Jonathan, again, 5 and 7 to 8. And finally, Alan, 5 and 8 on the 53 set high power. So that's it, Paul. Many thanks for running the net. Really enjoyed it. And I didn't realise there was a D-Day net tomorrow, but I should do my level best to take part in it. Best wishes to everyone. G3 Leo, North Yorkshire, off and clear. Passing it back to you, Paul.
G3 Leo, M1 BBC. Yes, okay, Gerald, where do you think 5 over 9? Yes, I suppose I should have given a bit of an announcement for people that might not be aware. Tomorrow, Mike 0 MGA, Martin is a net controller, special VMARS D-Day net, starting as I say, quite early in the morning. His intention is to start at 6 o'clock in the morning to give preference to weak low power stations. He'll be using the VMARS special event call sign GB0DD, I think it is. Don, as he keeps saying. And as I say, it starts at 6 in the morning and it will run for as long as people want it to and the net controllers are willing. So you don't have to get up at 6 in the morning, but I shall be in attendance from the early hours. And hopefully we'll get some good equipment on. We would ask that the equipment has some relation to the D-Day landings, but most of my equipment here is airborne, but airborne equipment was used, same as Army and Naval stuff. So there's quite a lot of stuff that qualifies in the VMARS Society. So 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, if you want it bright and early, or whenever you can on this frequency, please join us. Right, let's go to Robin, G0GNE, M1PVC.
And well, the only thing I can offer up from the D-Day maybe, and have a listen. It's going to run down the list of the people that were up to me. Alan was in William Terrace. Well, maybe on the site, but they were very nice distortion actually, really wasn't bad at all. So there we go.
G0GNE, M1PVC. Well, lovely signal still there. We usually have a reasonable path, Robin. Hope you have a great day. And yes, it'll be worth listening. And I should think towards the end, if you want to give some reports on whatever you can use, and nobody's going to object. I'm not trying to ban people. I'm just saying let's give preference to people running D-Day equipment. And I think you will hear a 38 set on tomorrow. But it has been modified to come onto this frequency. Right, let's go to Alan. I don't think he'll be there. He'll be probably around his yard. I'll give him a shout anyway. G4MOM, if you're handy, Alan, taken over. No, Alan, there was a carrier and a bit of fiddling about there, but we'll leave gaps if there is a station wishing to join. There's only 3 to go to the end of this net. I'll take a final listen for anybody calling in then, guys. So hold yourself in patience for 3 more overs. G6 AVI, Bob, have you sorted your problems? M1PVC.
M1PVC, G6 AVI. I hope I'm modulating. To have about 60 watts on the millimeter. Yeah, about 60 watts. Well, that's nothing changed in the shack at all, and that the feedback is on the home brew. Nothing changed at all. From the last time I used it, which was about 2 weeks ago. It's very odd. I thought I'd tracked everything down. I've got a ferrite. One of those little ferrite things with leads on and a coil around it, tiny one in the jack plug, and I've got .001s and all over the place, but lots of screening, and it's still feedback. And, I didn't have it in the shed, the outside shack, but I do in here. I haven't worked that one out yet, but I don't have it with the millimeter, which seems to be working very well, except for the hum. But perhaps people don't really hear that because it's very poor conditions. Well, I'll run through the list I have of signal reports. He started off at about +5, Paul, and he was very consistent all the way through until about probably about 10-15 minutes ago when you started to go down a little bit in strength. F4 VSC not heard. G3 MHX 4 and 7. G6 GLD not heard. GB0YN not heard. Nothing heard from Pete, but I did hear the V when he called in of his call sign. So we're definitely getting up to here just about. GX40C 4 and 6. Intelligibility up here at this distance with that high-pitched audio is very very difficult to hear, really. G3 TSK not heard. M0 MG8 5 and 8. Slight muffle on the audio, I thought there. G3 YY8 5 and 7. MW0 XHO 4 and 6. G4 JSX 5 and 7. G3 LEO 4 and 6. G0 GNE, just the odd word, Robin. MOM, I think I mentioned that before, started off at +10, and then went +20, 25, and then 30. And it's nice to hear that blower. That's working very well. G8 URE, I heard nothing about the Beverage because I got him at 3 and 6. So I wonder if you could mention how I go about in getting access to this Beverage, which may be the saviour. And G4 GEN, Alan +10. So from the Ashdown Forest, signals are very good, but nowhere else. So there we are. You may be interested, Paul, that the building work here, they got up to the wall place, so no more cement mixes and no mess when they wash out. So that's I'm thankful for that. I've been busy outside laying slabs, taking much use of the cement mixer, which is very handy. Lifting up on a big sheet of plywood with a shovel is no fun. It's so much easier with a cement mixer. Anyway, there we are. I'm very busy all through the week, and I say it's the first time I've been here this week, so it's a little bit difficult to do things at the moment. What we're ordering doors and cars and all here. Anyway, right back to you then. Someone to hope it all works. M1 PVC, G6 AVI.
G6 AVI, M1 PVC, well, still peaking 10 over 9 on the mini-mitter. I see I've drifted a little bit up in frequency, but I will leave it there just for the moment, not on the air much longer. And sounding good, Bob. No problem at all. We've got a good path between us as usual. You're lucky to have the cement, Bob, on your building works. It's getting extremely hard to get round this area, cement, and well done on that. And yes, cement mix as well. Luckily they're quite cheap these days, and they can be hired. I wouldn't try hand mixing it. You're welcome to that. But cement mixer, yes, even that's hard work. But well done on that. So it sounds as though you're getting on well. So it'll be the old carpenter now, will it? And then the finishing trades when you get a roof on the thing. Yeah, a lot further to go, Bob, but it's getting there. And surprised that you couldn't hear Robert, M6 GLD. Perhaps he's too near you. He's in Wheating in Norfolk. I don't know how far that is away from you. But as I say, we're very strong here, and today was no exception. Right, let's go to Jonathan. Jonathan can tell you the present moment, if you go into YouTube and put in Jonathan's call sign, you'll come up with his experiment, which is running tomorrow, but I don't know how long Jonathan intends to use that. G8 URE to take in 1PBC.
Right, from George 8 Uniform Radio Echo. Okay. Switching to the local receiver here. Okay, well, thanks very much for running the net. And yeah, it's been a very interesting experiment this morning. Really, just to get it ready for tomorrow. I think we need to think about whether it is actually useful in this format, and if so, how we would go forward with it. We'd have to set up something a bit more permanent than the situation it is at the moment. Okay, well, yeah, as you say, you just go into YouTube, type in my call sign, and you'll see there's a live broadcast going on. And as I say, really, it was started off. I did offer Martin some sort of live audio stream to help with tomorrow's net, and Martin and Giro MGA suggested it was a live stream on YouTube, which struck the horrors into me of how do I navigate such a thing, but anyway, managed to do it just in time. Anyway, thanks for running the net, and looking forward to the net tomorrow morning, and hopefully at 6 o'clock in the morning we'll have some great conditions. So, M1 PVC, Paul to take it from George 8 Uniform Radio Echo. Over.
G8 URE, M1 PVC. No, my pleasure running the net. No, Martin couldn't do it, and he asked me late last night if I could take over, so I didn't get too much notice, but what the heck, it's running a net, so no great problem. And luckily I've got the equipment up and running to do it. Right, the last station then. Have a great day, Jonathan. I hope you and Angie and Merlo are well. And we'll catch you further down. Listen for you tomorrow. G4, GN to take, M1 PVC.
Okay, this is G4GN, and as I said before, name here is Alan, and this is a wireless set number 53, and it reputedly, and I only say reputedly, went over the day after D-Day in a Bedford radio truck, and after the war, it was taken into the museum at Arborfield, and that's where I got it from, because I did a swap with them, and I had I'd overhauled one which I got from the University of York, and it never went very well, and it was sort of beautiful looking because I spent so much time in it, and so we did a swap, and I gave them a lot of old stuff like a 62 set and various other things that they hadn't got, and some clandestine stuff, and they gave me this 53, and I must say that I've been absolutely delighted with it, because it's been so good and so reliable, and what I've got in the PA are some almost new, well, they're well post-war 813s, and they don't have graphite anodes, they have some metal, beryllium or something, and they apparently they keep making the 813s because they need them for injecting RF into cyclotrons, because you can't have anything solid state near a cyclotron, because as you're constraining the electrons
traveling a circular path, they give off an awful lot of radiation. And that destroys solid state stuff, but it doesn't make too much difference to valves. And so they still keep making the 813s. And these are ones. And I must say, when I put them in, they gave at about 20% more RF. And I don't know why this should be, but I rather suspect it's because they got a higher vacuum. Whatever it is, they give quite a bit more RF, and they're really nice. So I can't actually see the bird that's in the circuit, but I think it's about 250 watts of RF. Anyway, whatever it is, it was quite an improvement on the World War II graphite anode ones. And let me see, that's about it. And the other thing is, I noticed someone's got a 618T. What a brilliant set that is. It's got a rubidium frequency standard, and it just is so good. And using a 618T, I've worked on the ground with a 707 straight through the burn radio. They would phone part just through to the office. No trouble, absolutely perfect. And it just shows you how good that 618T is. It's a very, very good set. Anyway, enough of this waffle. So, DN for over.
G4GN, M1PVC. Yes, okay, Alan. Lovely transmission. Hope you and Jeannie have a good day there. And we'll catch you further down and maybe hear you tomorrow on the D-Day net. Because as I say, although it starts early in the morning, it will be going on to probably 9 o'clock or beyond if it needs to. As I say, the net controllers and propagation is willing. So looking forward to that. And well, I'm in your camp, Alan. I think the 813 is a wonderful valve. I'm using one as I speak. There's one in the other LG300. There's one in the ART13. And as far as the 618T goes, well, you've got to take your hat off to the Americans when it comes to building radio equipment, especially the Collins Radio Company. They do a wonderful job. And I've never actually seen a bit of bad Collins gear. So maybe there is some, but I don't know of it. Everything I've got around here that's Collins is beautifully built. Absolutely wonderful. There again, of course, the Americans didn't have bombs dropping on them during the war when they were building it and what have you. And I believe they used a lot of our designs anyway. That's another story. So that's the end of the net as far as the list goes. I'll just give one final call out to see if anybody wishes to come in as tail end Charlie. This station, Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie, Paul in East Sussex, females net controller for the day. Listening for any other AM stations that would like to say hello and join the net briefly. And I'm listening now. No, they're all enjoying themselves in the garden or taking part of the auction. Hope that goes well. Thank you guys for your company on the net. So you guys that make the net, not the net controllers. Without you, we'd be sitting here looking rather silly and sounding even sillier. Mike 1 Papa Victor Charlie is closing the Saturday morning vintage and military.
Paul, can I come back, please?
AM net. And the net will start again this week at 8:30. New net controller. Tomorrow there is a special D-Day net on this frequency, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning and going on for however long it takes. If you have an interest, listen in. If you have the equipment, join us. M1 PVC is now going QRT. Have a great week ahead, guys.
Cheerio, Paul, and thanks a lot for everything. You did a super job, and I think I'll probably try and get up a bit earlier for tomorrow, because I actually remember D-Day very well, because before D-Day, they suddenly appeared on the back drive here. They were great big guns on trailers, and I was told that they were called long toms, and it was all the breeches, it was covered in grease, so I was clambering all around them, and I got covered in grease too, and I got a serious earful from my father, and he cleaned it off with petrol. Anyway, it didn't do me any harm, and he got the grease off, and then he put me in the bath and scrubbed me. But I remember those long toms, and suddenly they were went. It must, the day before D-Day, and they all disappeared, I suppose. I don't know exactly when they did, but suddenly I went out in the morning to play on the trailers as I did normally, and they were all gone, every one of them. And the only thing I got left is they had a radio truck there, a cabin, and they had a little ladder, and what I did was I abstracted that little ladder and put it in the long grass, and sure enough, they did forget it, and I have got it to this day. Cheerio, everyone. This is G4GEM.
I think we call that the spoils of war, Alan. Yes. Hope you have a good day, Alan. Nice to chat. This station now going QRT for a cup of tea.
NW0XHO, I'd like to congratulate Jonathan URE on the marvellous job of putting the beverage on for us to listen to. It's really working extremely well. Cheerio from Conway.
Yeah, cheers and beers, John. Have a good day. Really down in my noise now, but just heard it was you. M1 BBC has gone.